What's up? This is Mandelo, and in this video we're going to check out one of my favorite resources for getting information about the markets, and that's Coinalyze.net. So from the main page, one of the first things that you should do is make an account. One of the awesome things about Coinalyze is that you have access to basically all of the functions that they offer for free. There is the option to make a paid account, and in that you can save more charts or layouts, but you can do just about anything that you'd like to with the free account. So at least starting out and deciding if you like this tool, definitely there's no barrier to trying it. So from the main page, you can see that there is information on just about any ticker that you could care about, and probably a lot more that you don't. But there's many pages of different coins that you can look at. But for our purposes, we're just going to check out Bitcoin. Now, before we start looking at any charts or anything, some of the other information that you have, you can look at aggregated data, funding rates, individual charts and global charts. And just if you wanted to look at aggregated data, this is liquidations, funding rates, all of the things that were available on the prior screen. Funding rates, it's kind of nice if that's something that you like to use or look at. Individual charts and global charts, and I'll show individual charts in just a minute. But the global charts, one of the things about Coinalyze is it has this option. It is information that you can get from a lot of other places as well, but it's nice to have everything all in one website, that you don't have to have like 20 different screens or go to a bunch of different websites to get your information. So it's nice. I got Deribit, and a lot of the other exchanges, even a few dexes. So it stands apart from a lot of different places that you might get this other information from, in that regard, because Coinalyze, it seems to have the most markets and the most exchange information out of anywhere that I'm aware of, especially with aggregated information. Now let's take a look at the individual charts. So you can see there's so much that you can look at. These are preloaded for a few pieces of information, and I like to look at open interest and compare it with CVDs in my own strategies, cumulative volume delta. But open interest, the default chart comes in hourly. Look at it in a smaller time frame. You can see the standard Sunday afternoon scam pump. But is it a scam or not? Well, interpreting this information is a whole nother story. We'll briefly look at a few different examples of open interest, CVD, and price action, especially when approaching a key level in price, and see if it reveals any additional information, maybe even help us to decide about entering or exiting a trade. So the default open interest chart, it has stablecoin open interest. You can add some extra indicators, and when you have an account, you can save a lot of the different indicators that you might like to look at. So it just brings it up to the top. It's just convenient for adding the different things that you might like to use. Now, that said, you can save your own layout if you want and click on it immediately, and the chart will already come preloaded for you. So that's a nice thing, but we're not going to do that just yet. I'll show you how I like to use that, and a couple different ways to make your life easier if you decide to use Coinalyze. So aggregated coin margin. So it's a little bit different than the stable coin. And you know, a few other things that you can look at here. You can throw in some CVDs. So aggregated CVD, futures, coin margin, stable coin, and then spot. So it's nice, simple layout, ready to use for a lot of the things that you might be looking for. Now the cool thing about this is it's a trading view chart, and you actually have some indicators that you wouldn't normally be able to use for free on TradingView. So that's really great if you are just starting out, especially, or you know, like a lot of people, myself included, you're just wrecked. You know, all jokes aside, a few of the things that you can look at that would be on TradingView paid account, VPVR, that's pretty nice. You know, you can adjust it however you like. You know, increase your row size, so you know, it's a little bit more specific. You know, change it to a 4-hour time frame. You know, it's a standard VPVR. You got the default point of control for volume already in here. Okay, so that's great. What are some of the other things that you can look at that's different than TradingView? Nothing against TradingView, I love it, but you know, if you're on a budget or just want to have everything in one place, again, this is really cool. So something that's unique about this is you can look at your aggregated liquidations profile. That's something cool about Coinalyze. For stablecoin and coin margin. And, you know, if you wanted to you know, make this more specific as well, you know, just go in your settings and change your number of rows. Okay, so there's that. And then the other thing that some people like to look at is your visible range open interest profiles. So you can see where a lot of positions have been opened in a given time frame. So it's visible range. If you went up in the daily, you see a lot of positions were opened up here before this big move that happened. And then we're seeing all the way back almost a year and a half. You know, this is less and less useful the farther you go back in time, but some people really like to use this, especially in smaller time frames, so like the hourly. Start to get a feel for where there's a lot of positions, and you know, how accurate this is, how useful it is. That's for you to research and interpret, but you know, it's a tool that they have, and it's pretty cool. Okay, so this is one set of charts. Something else that I like to use, and what I primarily use, is I like to go into markets. And you can see a bunch of different options that you can select from. But basically, you select on one of these. And I'm going to just do show all. You can see all the different tickers or pairs for Bitcoin alone. And that's a lot. So if you're trading one of these, it's a great place to get information on it. But when you select one of these charts, it's going to open up in this form. So I've taken off basically all the indicators and everything. It comes default with your buy-sell volume. It'll show highlights for certain pieces of information in the white down here. For me, that's cool. Again, I want to look at more, and for myself, for my own preferences, when you're looking at more than a few indicators, it's nice to have Coinalyze specifically in a vertical orientation. So I have it on my vertical monitor, but you can totally simulate that with a widescreen, or you don't even need to look at all that much. Sometimes the more indicators you have, the more information you have, the worse you are for the wear, because it can just be too much, too overwhelming. It's not really all that important to see all the different specific pairs when you really just want to make a decision about what the market itself is doing. But in any case, let's add some indicators to the chart, some things that I like to look at. So CVDs, liquidations, aggregated open interest on coin margin and stablecoin. And you can take a look at funding rate and ATR, average true range. And I'll let you read a little bit more about ATR on your own, but it is useful when, for me at least, when I'm looking at specific levels and how to maybe set stop losses. And then money flow. Now if you're looking at perps, open interest delta, they're nice to look at as well. Premium index, I'm not really a big fan of it, but it works for perps, and then I'll put some VWAP on here. So I have all kinds of things loaded up on this chart. We don't need all of this. So since we're looking at a spot market, you're not going to get any information about these perps. I don't really care about funding rate personally. It's not all that important to me. Some people swear by it. And buy and sell volume at a given time point. I just did this all backwards order, but you see that there's a lot going on in this already. Now what you see over here, it's trades that are occurring currently. You can see a few of the other pieces of information that you might want to look at. You get some stats on it, whatever. You can make a watch list. So I got an ETH one, I have a Bitcoin one. You can select from different charts, and you see one of the saved charts that I have. Now this is busy as hell, isn't it? So I don't actually use it like this. It's just a pre-built for me to use the hack for a free account. I made this account just for a separate computer, and it allows me to have multiple charts open and very quickly choose if I'm going to use spot or perps information. So if I'm looking at a spot account, I'm looking at Bybit here, you're not going to get open interest information about that pair. Okay, I still like to look at the aggregated open interest. I don't really care all that much about liquidations, but I'm definitely not trying to look at a bunch of specific CVDs. Okay, if you still care about funding rate, great. I'm getting rid of it to just have a cleaner setup. Now, if I'm looking at just spot, you see that I have multiple different CVDs all in one place. And what is going on with all of this is the CVD for the pair that we're looking at in the chart. So it's a normal cumulative volume delta, but aggregated CVD spot, that's everything. And you can actually go in and select between things that you'd like to look at, things that you wouldn't. Now, what is going on with how I'm looking at things is I have our selected pair for Bybit in this instance, all of the markets, and then this is Coinbase. And the reason that I look at Coinbase individually is sometimes there is different action that occurs in different exchanges. Specifically in Coinbase, they might TWAP all weekend long and prop the price up, or really that's a matter of opinion or how different people interpret the charts. But the main thing is it's interesting to see different markets if certain exchanges might be doing something different than the others. So that's what I have in this layout right below. And if you wanted to have multiple different pairs, you select or deselect, you add the same indicator several times, and then you can change the color of them. So when you combine them all, like I'm doing right here, then you can see differences or who's doing what to some degree. You see one of these, a couple are dumping, some of them have been pumping this whole time, this whole afternoon, the past 5 hours or so. Some are going up, some are flat. This one pumped for a few minutes, and then it's been relatively flat since then. Cool. Well, who is that? Bitfinex. Okay, so do you really need all this? No. But if you're staring at screens all day long, sometimes it's helpful to you to see if there's one player or a few players that might be moving the market or propping the market up, or if it's a market-wide event that's occurring. So if you have everybody moving in the same direction, then it's less likely that there is only a few players that are influencing the price. Okay, liquidations, this is pretty cool, and I have everything is minimized so you can see what is going on. It gives you the number of Bitcoin right here, how many were liquidated at that 5-minute candle. It's pretty interesting. Mostly, again, this is just helpful if you care about entering or exiting around the time that there's lots of liquidations. Now, it doesn't mean that you should be entering trades at that point in time, but it can be helpful in certain strategies. So it's something that everybody has to do more research about and see it happening in the charts. Now, if you don't want to see this ads version, all that stuff on the side, goes away. I don't care about my watch list at this point, so we don't need to see that. And like I said, we don't need to see all of this. So, I created CVD for spot, CVD for this particular pair. Got money flow. Sometimes it's helpful. I like to look at it. And then looks like CVD for stablecoin and coin margin is going up. Okay, there's lots of ways that you can use this. You can look at divergences with comparison to the price. But, that's for another video. Okay, so we have now seen a few ways that we can set the charts up. And this is pretty much as clean as you need it. If you don't really care about the liquidations, you can see everything bigger. And kind of the vertical monitor hack for a normal screen, you just make the chart more narrow. And it looks better to me like this. So you can still be working next to it and keep an eye on, OI and CVDs in your Coinalyze screen. So that's what I really like to do. And then the last thing that I want to show you is just an example of open interest CVD and interesting point in price action that happened about a week ago. So in my chart, you see that I have CVD, open interest for stablecoin and coin margin, CVD for coin, spot, and stablecoin, and then I have liquidations on here. So again, this happened about a week ago, and the clearest spot that this happened was right around here. When I woke up that morning, I saw open interest just rising a whole lot, and price was selling off. So I was just thinking to myself, why are you doing this? I'm trying to buy it lower. But yeah, to me, how I interpreted it was there's a lot of shorts entering the market, selling off. You see CVDs going down, and some spot CVD was going down as well, but with open interest increasing so much in such a short period of time, it was maybe just apparent to me that there is likely a big move coming. What I'm doing here is I'm combining the CVDs with the chart just to have things a little less busy and really to see the open interest with regard to the price in CVDs a little bit better. So the place of interest this morning was price was going down, and open interest, especially in coin, stablecoin, was going up. There wasn't a whole lot happening in coin margin but it was still increasing as price was decreasing. So that was an indicator that there were shorts opening and driving the price down, along with the other CVDs suggesting the same. Okay, so what happened here? How did this play out? Well, you see this sell-off occurred as open interest was increasing, and then price remained relatively flat through here. So let's zoom in on this a bit more. Price remained relatively flat, and just for the sake of our example, we're going to draw an area that looks like it could have some stop losses above it, along with, my assumption that shorts were opening. So if price goes up, shorts will be forced to close. Well, through here, open interest remained relatively flat, but this is coin margin. It started to go down a little bit as price was going down. But right through here, we had open interest going down and price began going up. So some positions were closing or longs were opening. Now, you would think that it's longs opening, except for we have open interest to compare to this increase in price, and that is suggestive of shorts closing in this example. Now, when we reached our level of support and resistance, or where our theoretical stop losses might be resting, what happened? You have these giant candles representing large positions closing. Now look down below. This is confluence with some liquidations occurring. But mainly the open interest is an interesting aspect with what we thought might happen through here and what ended up playing out. So these shorts got wrecked through a little bit of buying that began either through some of these positions closing or spot driven. Regardless, the result was the same. Price went up and open interest went down. So that's what we call a short squeeze. So this is just my interpretation. By no means is this trading advice, financial advice, but if you find it helpful, I am really glad. Leave comments or questions in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and good luck trading.